What's going on, guys? JPS back for another video, and today I'm here with my brother Ben,
What's up, guys?
and we're going to be reacting to a video from TLDR News. This one is titled Tracing the Economic Impact of the War in Iran, which has been going on for quite some time now. There was a ceasefire declared, but it wasn't really a ceasefire because they're still firing, and that's happened several times throughout history. So
Yeah, I think it's always been happening, I feel like.
I think that just means less fire. It's not like a true ceasefire.
Yeah, it's never ceased.
But most importantly, a lot of lives have been lost in this war, and there have been significant economic impacts worldwide. Have you pumped gas recently?
Yeah, just pumped my tank. And
Expensive.
I paid $15, put $15 on my tank, and maybe it put me up like a quarter.
So yeah, it's like,
Yeah, like,
gas prices are getting
back
close
in the day,
to...
that would have been like half a tank at least.
Yeah, and also the funniest or the saddest part about this is like Americans are hyper focused on gas prices because that's like the most immediate effect we feel from the rising oil prices.
Yeah.
When in reality, there are much bigger problems to be worried about and ways in which we are being affected. But we're all like, oh, gas. But like, look at all the other stuff.
It's the main priority because
That's how you get around.
was kind of made that like the main promise that we were gonna get cheap gas prices, and
It's not happening.
It's not happening.
Yeah.
It's not happening.
So yeah, let us know your thoughts on this, guys. But we're gonna get right into this, tracing the economic impact. Before we do though, please check out the clothing brand. Just give it a look. Link in description.
Never had anything so comfortable on my body.
It is very comfortable.
Very comfortable.
Good quality. Thank you to those of you who have placed orders. Limited quantities, guys, and we will be releasing something new in the future. So stay tuned. But I appreciate all you guys for supporting me.
Go shop.
No pressure as always. Thank you guys for listening to the rant. Let's get right into this. Here we go.
The US-Israeli war against Iran has been going on for more than a month now, and it could still escalate further. There's already been a devastating human cost. Thousands of Iranians have been killed by US and Israeli strikes, while dozens have been killed by Iranian strikes across the Gulf and Levant. There's also been a massive economic cost too. As you probably well know, attacks on the region's energy infrastructure and Iran's closure of the Strait of Hormuz have sent oil and gas prices skyrocketing. But the true economic impact is far more wide-reaching, with downstream effects on food security, high-tech industry, and plastics. So in this video, we're going to trace the economic impact of the war in Iran.
I think those images alone are,
you know what's crazy too? I feel like a lot of people didn't even know about the Strait of Hormuz before this conflict. I didn't. I'd never realized like how much of the world's oil flows through that.
Yeah. You see how much it flows. Like, oh my, that's crazy. Just one closing.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
It's big.
Impacts us like crazy.
Never miss an episode and always feel in the loop by subscribing and ringing the bell. So, it makes sense to start with energy, given that the Gulf countries are major producers of oil and gas. Iran's effective closure of the Strait of Hormuz, through which about 1/5 of the world's oil supplies pass through in normal times, has contributed to what the International Energy Agency has called the largest supply disruption in the history of the global oil market. With hundreds of tankers stranded and unable to leave the Persian Gulf, export routes severely limited, and storage capacity filling up, Gulf producers have been forced to cut oil production. The strait's closure, as well as Iranian attacks on Gulf energy infrastructure, has sent prices skyrocketing. On Monday, Brent crude, the global oil benchmark, rose to $116 a barrel, putting it on course for a record monthly rise of nearly 60%. Some analysts have even suggested...
Look at the initial, I think that was like around when the conflict began. The initial spike.
So that it could reach $200 a barrel.
No, chill. Yo, Jesus. Yo, but what they said earlier, like the oil's not moving anywhere, so they have to stop producing it because they can't export it. Yeah, so not even making the oil like they were.
They have to just like cut everything down.
We're gonna be feeling this for months. Even if this conflict does end.
Even if they open it back up, it's still gonna take a while to get back to where we were.
Oh yeah, and the conflict needs to end, bro. You saw the buildings being they bombing like elementary schools over economic stuff. Like, what are we doing?
Like leaders like having problems. Like, what?
They're playing a chess game and we are the pawns.
Yeah, I mean, not
I'm glad
really
we're
us,
not the pawns. We're in a good position here.
People in Iran.
I feel bad for them.
If the war lasts till June. As for gas, the Dutch TTF benchmark has nearly doubled since the start of the war.
Damn.
In a bid to address the disruption to global oil supply, IEA members in mid-March agreed to the largest ever release of government oil reserves, some 400 million barrels. The IEA, however, warned that this is a stopgap measure, with the reopening of the Strait of Hormuz and ending of the attacks on energy infrastructure being of paramount importance. Even if the strait reopened tomorrow, though, it would still take time for the energy markets to recover, not least because of the damage done to energy infrastructure. For example, Iranian attacks have knocked out 17% of Qatar's liquefied natural gas export capacity, and repairs could take up to 5 years. Of all the continents, Asia is bearing the brunt of this energy crisis, as some 80% of the oil that passes through the Strait of Hormuz is bound for Asia, with South Korea, for example, importing 70% of its crude oil from the Middle East. Japan,
Bro, the
95%.
Philippines and Japan are cooked.
Oh my God.
What are they doing now? Like,
No, imagine their gas prices.
they're fried. Bro.
8% and the Philippines 98%. Countries in Asia have therefore begun to plan and implement measures in the face of this looming shortage. South Korea is considering extending driving restrictions to the general public, having already implemented public sector curbs. The Philippines has declared a national energy emergency, saying nothing is off the table. Sri Lanka has declared every Wednesday a public holiday and introduced fuel rationing. The Thai government has asked people to keep their air conditioning on low and ordered employees to work from home. And in India, a shortage of cooking gas has left people and businesses struggling. Well, Asia is feeling.
You know what's crazy? Like, we're complaining about high gas prices, but Asia.
That just
Asia.
set off like
I did not know that. Wow.
They can't even like work. They
can't
gotta
do-
work from home. Imagine how many people can't go to work. That is crazy.
lot, bro.
That's so much. There's so many jobs out there that require.
Everyone, like,
gas.
so many lives impacted from this conflict, but we only think about ourselves for real.
We're
like,
really not even impacted that badly.
at all.
At all.
Yeah.
Right now, it may just be a matter of time for the rest of the world too. Analysts from JP Morgan have described the energy shock as unfolding sequentially rather than simultaneously, a rolling supply disruption moving westward. According to their analysis, Africa is next, with effects becoming more pronounced in early April, and Europe is likely to feel the impact by mid-April. Finally, the US is the last in line, with direct physical fuel shortages unlikely in the near term. But impacts will still be felt through higher prices and dislocations in refined product markets. But as we've said, the economic impact goes far beyond just energy prices, with many downstream consequences. The impact of fertilizer production is particularly worrying, especially as the war has coincided with the spring planting season. For context, given that most fertilizer is made using natural gas, the energy-rich Middle East is a crucial fertilizer producer. About 1/3 of global seaborne fertilizer normally passes through the Strait of Hormuz, particularly urea and phosphate-based fertilizers. So the shutting of the strait has prompted a fertilizer shortage and sent prices soaring, with urea futures up around 50% since the war began. In short, this means higher food prices, as higher fertilizer prices mean higher costs for farmers, and fertilizer shortages mean lower crop yields. This is something we should all be bracing for, and it could erupt as a major political issue, as in countries from the US to India to Europe, food prices are a political flashpoint, and farmers an influential bloc. But farmers and consumers in developing countries that are reliant on imported fertilizer face a more existential threat. According to the World Food Programme, the number of people facing acute hunger is projected to increase by 45 million people from a pre-conflict baseline of 318 million if the war continues through the second quarter of this year. The next downstream impact we're going to take a look at is helium. The element is a byproduct of natural gas processing, which is why major gas producer Qatar also produces nearly 1/3 of the world's helium supply, with it being shipped out through the Strait of Hormuz. The war-induced helium shortage poses a real risk to global tech supply chains, as helium is used at several key stages in the manufacture of semiconductors and microchips that power modern electronics. While chip makers like TSMC and Samsung are currently able to rely on stored and pre-shipped helium, industry consultant Phil Kornbluth said right now it's still sunny on the beach, but there's a tsunami coming. So the industry will be hoping for a swift end to the war, if it's going to continue meeting relentless AI-driven global chip demand. And finally, the petrochemicals and plastic industries are similarly disrupted.
scary.
Virtually all plastics are derived from fossil fuels, and while you might be used to using paper straws and tote bags, it's hard to overstate how central plastics are. From packaging to automobile parts to toys to the medical industry to uses within manufacturing processes. More than half of the world's plastics are manufactured in Asia, with China being the largest producer. But the region imported more than 60% of its naphtha, a fossil fuel-derived crucial component of plastic, from the Middle East in 2025. As such, the ongoing disruption has sent prices for plastic soaring. Polyethylene and polypropylene prices have jumped nearly 40% since the beginning of the war, feeding downstream inflationary consequences.
I think this conflict has really made me realize how much is being supplied from the Middle East.
Yeah, they're a detrimental part to the whole world. Like I
I mean,
thought it was
they're
just
not
like,
detrimental. Like,
Come on,
this
like-
is detrimental.
Yeah, this is very detrimental. They're talking about like possibly like the end of the world type scenarios.
I don't know about, yeah, it's not the end of the world, but it just is going to make life harder for like a lot of people.
It's gonna cause more conflicts.
Yeah, and it's not just gas and oil. It's
It's gonna drag a lot of countries down.
everything. And
Yeah.
all of these have, it's like a domino effect.
Yeah,
And we're
it
not
is.
seeing the effects yet because this is a new conflict. Like,
Tsunami.
exactly. They said they have helium stores, but if the war doesn't end soon, those supplies
At the
aren't
end
going
of
to
the
be
day,
fulfilled.
the war just needs to end. That's basically what
Yes.
they're summing up to.
The war needs to end. We can all agree on that. So I'm
We
so
need- we
tired
need-
of this.
Yeah, we need someone to figure it out. I can't
We're in 2026. We're supposed to be this enlightened population, but we act so barbarically. Like our
Right.
leaders,
It never changes.
bro, they're treating this as like it's Clash of Clans.
Yeah, like it's a game.
That's what it is in their head. It's crazy.
So, as you can see, the economic turmoil sparked by the war in Iran is wide-reaching. It's hard to think of an area or sector that won't be touched in some way. As for how bad things might get, and for how long it might last, that really depends on where the war goes from here. The fact that this remains an open question makes it harder for businesses, investors, and people in general to know how to respond.
Uncertainty.
And adds an extra layer of uncertainty for global markets. As Barclays analysts wrote, a dense fog has been induced by the inconsistent communication coming from the Trump administration about the war, its objectives, its duration, and its potential expansion or its off-ramps.
That's not what we need.
Now, there are a lot of big players involved in this story, and it's no secret that the world we live in is run
I think
big
this is
players
the funeral.
involved in-
That's the guy that we
So that
smoked,
got
bro.
assassinated, yeah.
Yeah, and then his son hopped in.
And nothing changed.
So yeah, like how are you gonna kill someone's father and then he's gonna take his role and you think he's not gonna act
There's
in his
always a
father's
line. There's always a line. We've seen this in like North Korea. We've seen this in literally every like country basically that like the leadership is like
It's
a
tied
little
down.
staggered.
Yeah.
in this story. And it's no secret that the world we live in is run by big players like these, but not just in the world of politics. Big companies also have a complete monopoly over the world we live in, and avoiding them is kind of out of our control as they seep into every part of our
Advertisement?
day-to-day life. But what if we told you that you could get some of that control back?
Told you.
Starting with children born
Wow, that is
future
a
privacy
long
of your
ad. Yo, they just made the
That's
rest of the
kinda
video an
crazy.
ad. I felt it coming, bro.
That's kind of crazy. I had to add to this.
Big shout out TLDR News though. I think this was like a short video, but very comprehensive on the different ways in which we're all going to be affected.
Not just
worldwide.
gas prices.
Yeah, not just gas
That's
prices.
the smallest of our problems.
That's the tip of the iceberg for
Yeah.
real.
Yeah,
So-
yeah, for real.
And I think like as of time of this recording this, like this is a few days after the ceasefire was announced. We're at like a pivotal turning point in the war. It could end, it could go further. He said that it could be expanded. The war could become bigger, which is
Yeah,
not what
other people could get involved. They could get so much worse.
And
But
it just-
hopefully,
And what
He's
I'm
got a
also worried
plan.
about is like what happens after the war, because what's been happening is we focus on one conflict and then another one springs up.
right,
There's never a break, you know? If
right.
it feels like there's never a break. So
I think it's someone's problem.
I just want to wake up one day and there not be like some crazy headlines.
I
Like,
think
do you know what I'm
someone's
saying?
making a mistake for real. I think we
Yeah.
all know who it is.
Yeah, our leader, he's cooked.
It's cooked. We just gotta wait. When is the next election?
About 2.5 years until he's out of office. So Next election won't matter because he only gets 2 terms, and we're not letting him override it, guys. I know some of you are like, it's gonna be a
We're not letting it
dictatorship.
happen,
He's
bro.
gonna stay in office forever.
Can't let that happen.
No, not gonna
Can't let that
happen.
I think the whole world understands now. All of America at least knows now, like, we cannot let that happen ever again.
And we're not gonna let the Vice President J.D. Vance take over as his puppet
Yeah,
and work for him
and do
No.
the same things
exactly.
that he was doing. We've seen through it. I hope every person
Eyes-
that voted for Trump has opened their eyes.
They better, bro. They
And
better.
hopefully they don't make the same mistake, because
Yeah.
the world would probably end by then. Seriously, J.D. Vance takes over.
We're-
America's
yeah.
gonna try and turn into some dictatorship. I feel like
Yeah.
it's gonna turn into something bad.
All right, guys, that's a wrap on the video. Let us know your thoughts in the comments down below. Thank you guys for sticking with us. We appreciate the support and you guys watching the videos. And we'll see you all in the next one. Peace.